Alright, team. This is our final stand up before the Great Gate goes live tomorrow. First order of business, the siege engine deployment. Yes, I am aware that the engineers are unsettled. They say the frame isn't stabilized. No, I'm afraid we don't have the time to run another structural integrity audit. If they want to escalate, they're welcome to take it up with Lord Dagon directly. I'm sure he'd love to hear more bad news. In the meantime, we are proceeding with deployment as scheduled. Second, gate synchronization. All three minor gates are holding for now. Gate 2 is acting up though. Seems like it's partially blocked and some of the Dremora are stuck in transit, but we're investigating. Third, communication blockout. We are locking external comms as of sundown tonight. The Mythic Dawn is, let's say, emotionally compromised and leaking like a cracked soul gem. So no more intel goes in or out until after the operation. Finally, a status update. Lord Dagon is already partially attuned to the Imperial City. If this fails and we lose the window, there will be consequences. And I don't mean professionally. Any questions at this time? Yes, the team offsites are back as of next month. Either way this goes, we won't need to postpone again. Enjoy Strauss Mackay with the rest of customer success. Okay, I think we're all ready. Good luck tomorrow, and may the Breton woman miss you.
Hey, how's your workload been since we last met?
Not great. I've had to work with Lord Dagon directly to place several people on performance improvement plans. Heads of engineering and gate coordination, to be specific, along with a few others. And placing someone on a pip around here is no easy task. They usually fight you the entire way, since our pips are almost identical to our containment protocols. The only difference being a few more hot pokers.
Were there any specific metrics they failed to meet?
Yes. Were those metrics wildly unreasonable and completely unattainable? Definitely. But were they also really well documented and technically agreed to by the employees? Also, yes. To be fair, there's not much room for negotiation when your direct manager is the CEO, who also happens to be a Daedric prince. Anyway, there were several critical failures with the Great Gate and the siege engine deployment, respectively. On the Great Gate front, it was all tracking really well until the Breton woman showed up, which, let's be honest, we expected. She's closed every gate we've opened so far, so it was no surprise that she was there as well. What the head of gate coordination tried to do is devise a layout so diabolical that she would get lost inside long enough for us to raise Bruma and get the air out of the picture. It took her 8 minutes to get to the sigil stone.
And the head of engineering?
Oh, that was its own disaster. He owned the siege engine roadmap. The deck he presented, stunning. Made the thing look like a modular showpiece. You'd want it in your living room. Ended up being incredibly bulky, difficult to work with, and most of all, slow. So painfully slow. Barely moved forward. Needed 30 Dremora to operate, all of whom argued constantly and refused to read the instructions. It managed to crawl about 5 feet into Tamriel before the gate collapsed, effectively turning it into scrap metal.
Well, that sounds incredibly unfortunate. Why did they both fail so miserably?
Simple. The launch was moved 3 months earlier than initially planned. No warning. Everyone was furious. But there's no arguing with Mehrunes Dagon. It was a cross-functional project, and we've literally just wrapped up the kickoff meeting when they both got called into his office to discuss updated timelines. It was just downhill from there.
Well, that's jarring. I'd also be upset if I suddenly lost 3 months to work on something. Why do you think that happened?
Honestly, there was a very good reason for it. You see, our strategic partners at the Mythic Dawn have lost the Mysterium Xarxes. Maybe you've heard of it. Anyway, the last Ragged Septim is apparently making swift progress on deciphering it and opening a portal to paradise. where the Amulet of Kings is held, which is the one single thing that can derail this entire operation. It was crucial we try and eliminate him before he gets the chance to relight the dragon fires. This initiative was already in the works, so Lord Dagon just pushed for it sooner rather than later. But you know what they say. You can't have 9 women deliver a baby in a month.
So the Septimator is still alive and making progress towards paradise?
Very much so, yes. I am honestly just expecting the Mythic Dawn point of contact to call me any minute now to tell me that they have also lost the Amulet of Kings. I have very little faith left in them. Not only have they proven to be incredibly incompetent during this whole affair, but their ranks have also been depleted. And the only people left now are the ones who were too inept for the field to begin with, so they stayed nice and safe in their home offices. At this point, they're less of a cult and more of a poorly managed book club.
So what now? Is the mission over?
I don't think so, actually. Lord Dagon is pacing and muttering to himself. Things like incompetent worms and should have done it myself. I am mostly waiting to get summoned for the next round of directives. Time will tell. Hi, you've reached the Citadel. How can I help you today? Oh, Janet. You have an update? You've found the Xerxes. Nah, yeah, right. Because the blades are very tricky. I recall. Oh, the Amulet of Kings? I trust the Mythic Dawn is doing an amazing job keeping it safe. You're not? Paradise has been breached. I'm honestly shocked. Truly. And Mankar, wasn't he holding on to the amulet? Janet, I believe I mentioned this the last time we spoke, but I feel compelled to repeat it. This is a mission-critical artifact. Does that phrase mean anything to you? How did she get past the Forbidden Grotto? Insider assistance? You can't even trust your own people in your own pocket realm? Okay, tell you what, we'll try one final initiative. Can you facilitate, 6 more gates? This time we'll do them all in the Imperial City. You have 3 business days. And Janet, when he comes, just stand aside.
What exactly is a Daedric siege engine?
Great question. A siege engine is essentially a very large, very angry piece of workplace equipment. It's designed for conflict resolution through walls. Historically, it's been used to knock down city gates, fortress walls, and the general morale of anyone standing behind or in front of them. Ours was summoned directly from the Deadlands, using soulbound schematics and a deeply cursed wrench set. We stationed it outside of Bruma, not because it had to be there, but because that's where it fit, barely. The engineers initially promised a sleek, portable device with optimized UI. What we got was a 30-ton murder crab made of bone, metal, and managerial disappointment. It had no off switch. We're still not sure what powered it, but the leading theory is spite. In the end, it barely crossed the threshold into Tamriel before collapsing under its own weight and the weight of expectations. It was meant to be our final bargaining chip. Instead, it became our first major OSHA violation. Hey everyone, thank you for joining this week's Deadlands All Hands. I know it's been a week, so let's jump right in. First, gate operations. Yes, the Great Gate is officially non-functional. The closure occurred approximately 8 minutes after activation. A reminder that this was not the expected outcome. We're still conducting a full postmortem, but Early indicators suggest that the layout was navigated in record time, the sigil stone was not properly fastened, and the siege engine did not reach full deployment velocity. A very special thanks to the gate coordination team for trying their best despite impossible conditions and also unfortunately contributing directly to the collapse. Your efforts have been noted. Your performance improvement plans are being finalized. Second, siege engineering. The engine has been declared irrecoverable. It is now categorized as scrap class Daedric debris. We do not blame engineering. They did their best with what they had, or rather didn't have, which is a believable timeline to launch. No further siege hardware will be commissioned without at least one reality aligned Gantt chart. Third, on our external partnerships. We have officially paused all strategic collaboration with the Mythic Dawn. While we remain appreciative of their enthusiasm, the most recent breach of Paradise and subsequent loss of both the Xarxes and the Amulet of Kings has strained the partnership. Going forward, all cross-realm communications will be routed through legal or rituals, whoever picks up first. Fourth, morale. Understandably low. That said, if Lord Dagon asks, we are grateful for the opportunity to grow from failure. You will all be issued new uniforms with extra padding in the kneeling region. You're welcome. Lastly, we need to discuss the next steps, because the mission is not cancelled. Lord Dagon has asked us to stop relying on idiots and do it properly. Interpret that as you will. Any questions? Yes, PTO requests are frozen until further notice. I'm very sorry about your kid's upcoming graduation. I hope she has a great day with the rest of the family. Thank you all. That's it for me, and may our next failure be less public.